Praveen, I think you will be able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Shikha. Yeah. Hi, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on your respective time zone, please. And about myself, this is Ashwant, and working in the software for past 4 years. And today we are going to discuss about customization of user interface. So before we start, I'd like to give you the forward-looking statement. You might have seen this all from the past or entire developer training. So make your purchase decision once it's generally available. And I'd like to thank Salesforce Ohana for giving us the opportunity to learn and giving the back what we learn. And without delay, I just like to start on custom UI. What is custom user interface? So far we talked about, or we discussed about, we see how we can develop triggers, how to develop flows, process builders. So whatever we have seen so far are is running behind the process except the flow. So you have a complexity of application, and you cannot you're not going to achieve that particular solution with flow. So how to customize a user interface in Salesforce? What are the ways we have a user interface customization ways in Salesforce? So before, a user interface is like, generally, you guys know, it's a whatever end user is seeing is the user interface, right? So whatever you built on behind the scene, no matter how you build, no one is going to see that. So whatever you're presenting or whatever you're rendering in the UI, so you should be more creative, and you should think out of the boxes on particular solutions too. So without delay, let's jump on what are the possible ways we have in a Salesforce. So if you see, we can customize the user interface in Salesforce using VF pages and Visual Force component, Lightning component, Lightning web component. So first, let's see only the Visual Force page in this session right now. And what is Visual Force page? So Visual Force is nothing but is a markup language which allows customizing of UI on top of the Salesforce platform. So it consists of two elements in the controller and the markup. Whatever you are seeing a right side of my screen is whatever you're rendering is the markup, what we used to call. And the controller where you're having here and which runs all your server side actions is we used to call the controller. And in the Visual Force, we're having a standard 150 plus standard components which you don't need to create each and every code, where we can simply select with the respective components itself. And you can even build custom components, and it can support all the standard web technologies like Angular and JavaScript. You can even write your JavaScript in the Visual Force page. So let's see how MVC pattern works in Visual Force page. Like I think you might have already heard about this model view controller. So what if you split this with a Visual Force page? What is view? Whatever you are rendering in the UI, whatever your end user is viewing is the view, and excuse me, whatever you're accessing the data is the model. Like in our Salesforce, it will be like either as object or as Apex class. And in the controller, which handles the UI as well as which controls the entire server side actions, is the controller. So let's decode a standard component. Okay, so I was saying, like, we're having 150 standard components where you don't need to write each and every code. Let's see, this is one standard component we have in the Salesforce. It's just is input text field and it's accepting a value. So let's decode this in the standard HTML. Apex is a prefix where we can have where you do see in the uh, some of the components where you built, it's a prefix of your respective component. And input text is the component name where it resides, and this is the component we are invoking. And value is the attribute. And merge field, there is something called merge field in the Visual Force page. You can directly use the variables in the Visual Force page directly from the Apex controller. So let's not forget about let's not worry about the what is OTP here. We'll see while we are seeing the demo. And if you this is what we written in the markup level in the Visual Force page. So what Salesforce is doing behind the scene, so it will convert a standard HTML tag with this respect to whatever you are using in the tag. So this is nothing but which is running in the browser level. So browser should understand. So Salesforce is converting with respect to the browser understandability. So let's see quickly how to create a Visual Force page. So I'm already logged into the one of my Salesforce org. So in the quick find, you can enter Visualforce page here, or I'll even go with the developer console, which is pretty much easier for the developer and end user. So I'll create a one Visualforce page quickly here. So in this here we have a file, and I think if you forgot or if you're not sure how to go to the developer console, in the setup, if you see a gear icon here, just click on this and you will see a developer console option. Let's click. If you click on this, it will navigate to a developer console tab, and here we are. And let's click on file, and you have a new option. And you already seen Apex class trigger, and now currently we are in a Visualforce page. Let's click on this, and I'd like to give the name where we used to start with our programming, and I don't want to get hurt our programmer ancestors if they are listening. So I will use the same hello world. So which is a common class or common page which we used to start with. So this is simple. So Salesforce, whatever you're rendering or whatever you're writing markup, this should reside between this Apex page tag. So simply when you convert this to HTML, this is HTML tag for our HTML pages. So let's have a simple code here. Welcome to the dev training. Thanks for joining us. So I just added few just English language here, which is nothing, no code is involved. If you see here, there is preview button in a preview button, and if you click on this, this will render. This is the output of our whatever we have written here. So let me quickly go to this. Yeah, here we go. So this is what I written. Okay, so now let's make some let's add some customization or some beautification to this particular. Okay, I'm just adding a div which you're already familiar with this. And so here I'm just writing one style, which is I just want to align this to center. That's it. Here we go. So this is pretty much easier, and we don't need to bother about, or if you are even in admin or you're trying to come into the development. So Visualforce page is easier play where you can play with the customization code. So now so far we've seen like what is Visualforce page, how can we deal with this. So if I want to get data from the server, or if you want to bring if you want to render a particular data here, so how can we bring the data to the UI, and how can we deal with it? How can we store the data into the Salesforce? Let's see that. So I'm back to my presentation. Sorry. Yeah. So we're having few controllers where you want to, as I discussed in the MVC, we have few controllers which are controlling our entire UI. So which is nothing but is your backend controller where it controls your entire server actions, like retrieving from the data or storing into the database. Okay. So what is standard controller? Standard control is a class which action needs to be taken based on user interaction with you. Standard control, which is provided by the Salesforce itself, and you can simply add a custom object. If you see in the right hand side, you can simply pass the object name, and it will support basic operations of like CRUD operations, save, delete, and edit operations. So let's see a quick demo. I already created one Visualforce page for our time save, and I'm opening here. So here I have a Visualforce page with standard controller. So if you see here, I just added one attribute called standard controller, which is predefined, and I'm passing account. So which is you already known. We have some standard object called account, and record set where is nothing but I'm bringing all the accounts. So that is a temporary variable where we can store the all the accounts in your org. So Apex page block is a tag which I already discussed, or which is one of the 150 plus standard components, which is nothing but which will give you the uh, one particular UI to render a page block. We'll show you that. Page block table is nothing but is a data table and it's rendering in a table format. If you see here, I just iterating through Apex page block table is kind of like a for loop. If you talk about, I'm just iterating through all accounts and I'm rendering the name. So let's see how it will look like. I'm clicking on preview here. So see, we have a one account and I'm querying this account here. So here you didn't even write a single piece of code in the Apex controller to query all the records. So standard controller will take care of all the actions like querying the records and even the data DML operations. So this is about standard controller, and let's see what is custom controller. So far we talked about like how we are bringing the records from the Salesforce with standard controller. So where you didn't even write a single piece of code for the customization of the Apex. So here, if you want to bring like you want to add some of the customization logic. Let's say you want to add two numbers and you want to render in the UI. So in that particular place, how we can't achieve with the standard controller, right? So you are building your custom own logic. So for that, we have a custom controller and which will accept the same Apex controller. And here you need to write all your code with respect to the actions, whatever you're going to run. So let's see how custom controller, how Visual Force page will look like with the custom controller. So I already created one Visual Force page for this, and which is account list with custom. So here, if you see, my controller is the same. Previously for standard controller, we are using standard controller attribute here. And for the custom controller, you just need to use controller. And this is a Apex class, which I already created. Okay. And let's open this and let's see what we are dealing here. And this is my controller. And it has nothing here. Just I have a one getter setter variable, and which is getter setter variable. Some might have already heard about this. Getter setter variable is nothing but a variable. If you want to render a data, or if you want to whatever you are doing a circle. Let's say here I'm doing a circle simply, and you want to present this return data in the UI. So for that, you need to use a variable with getter setter declaration. So what it will do is, so that the Visual Force page markup will get to know there is something variable which has data. So I declared as a getter setter variable, and this is a constructor which we already seen about in the earlier sessions. And I'm querying the accounts, list of accounts, and assigning to this getter setter variable. So here in the Visual Force page, what I'm doing here is I'm just iterating through. As I said earlier, I'm just iterating. Page block table is a iterator in a Salesforce, and which will present the data in the tabular format. So I'm iterating through all my accounts and rendering using Apex column tag and assigning the respective name here. So if you want to use like if you want to do a manipulation over here, so after I return account, I want to do some I want to bring all the contacts or some other use case. Okay, you can even deal with using getter methods or setter methods. Some might have already familiar with this. So which is all nothing but, so instead of here using getter setter, you will have a getter methods where you will do all your respective actions inside this. So this is a simple syntax how to write a getter setter methods in the Apex class. And here that's it. I'm just rendering the same. So if you click on preview, this will also do the same. I'm just bringing all the accounts here and rendering in the UI. So standard controller, custom controller is looks like same, but custom controller you have to perform all your actions in behind the scene. Standard controller, Salesforce will take care of whatever you are passing based on the standard controller name. So now you want to use standard controller at the same time, and you want to add you don't need to write all the code like as I said earlier, you don't need to write a code for the save, or you don't need to write a code for delete. So you just need to concatenate two numbers and render in the UI. So for that, for the save and delete operations, you are trying to leverage the standard controller. And how would I leverage the same I want to customize my one particular functionality, how we can leverage that? So for that, we have something called controller extension. If you see in the right hand side, we have a standard controller and extension. So you cannot add standard controller as well as custom control at a time. If you want to add if you want to add extra controller, you have to specify using extensions, so that you can specify a number of classes here with comma separated. So that's why it is extensions. And here extension is a class where it's just also same as Apex class, where it involves all the customization of your logic. So let's see how Visual Force page with control extension looks like. So I'm going to my developer console. Sorry, file open and pages. So I have a VF page which already I created, which is account extension. So if you see here, I'm just having standard controller using account, and I'm using extension my controller extension. So what we are doing here, let's dig it here. So I'm using controller and I'm opening this. So if you see, I'm just this is the one of the parameterized constructor which we already seen previously. So whenever you are defining standard control and whenever you're using extension, you should define this parameterized constructor, and you can access the whatever record you are currently viewing here. So what I'm doing here is, previously, as I said, we can have a getter method. I have a one variable called welcome message, which is nothing but I didn't use getter setter. I use getter method. So if you see, if you want to declare a getter method for a variable, you just need to concatenate get and the respective variable name. So here what I'm doing is just I'm concatenating the account name. So let's preview this. And here is a form, Apex form, which is nothing but standard HTML form, which will contains all the input fields. Here I'm having Apex input field, which accepts input from the user, and command button, which is something called, which is a user interaction like HTML standard button. And here I'm having standard save action. So if you see in my controller, I didn't have any of the method with a save. So which is nothing but it's a standard save method. Let's preview this. So here you see you're having as a value as null, because you don't have any account record here. So I'll just walk you through how we can do this. So I'm entering a one test record here. I'm creating one account record here. Demo account 1234. Okay, I'm just click on save. Which created a Salesforce standard account and which has a ID here. So if I want to if I want to preview the same account in the same page what I built here, and I want to auto populate the name if the record ID already exists. So let's preview the same again. And here there is something after the question mark. Let's get rid of all these and let's add ID equal to the created record ID. And here we go. It's auto populating the value from here. So how it's behaving is, using the standard controller, here I have a parameterized constructor which will queries the record behind the scene, and I'm assigning the same record to this particular local variable. And Salesforce will take care of this rendering of the name fields and auto population of the values. So here I'm just concatenating the message with this local variable. So it's pretty much simple, and here this way you can define all your, you can create all your Visual Force pages with customization. So let's see how can we what are the ways we can interact with the server. So as I showed you previously, there is standard button called Apex command button. So through this you can even interact with the server. Or there is something called action function. So it will also act like the same as command button actions. So you just need to pass the respective action name and method names. And there is something interestingly called remote action, which is invoked from the JavaScript itself. So if you want to, whatever you're dealing in the markup level using either action function or command button, which will only takes place from the markup level, which is directly linked with the tightly coupled with the server. So if I want to invoke from the JavaScript, so as long as you know JavaScript is a very much faster. So if I want to invoke with the server from the JavaScript, so here we have some just example I'm showing here. So with this syntax, you can invoke even JavaScript remote action method from the JavaScript itself. So far, So let's to deal with this, I just want to take you guys back to the like 5 or 10 years back. So having, yeah, so this is what we have previously, like before lightning came into the picture. So far we are currently we demoed all in the lightning. So before lightning, this is what we have in the Salesforce, which is we used to call as classic view. And this is how it's the visual. If you want to add a visual force page, this will render over here. So this is a legacy model, or which is old version of the UI. So if I want to build, so after that lightning is came into the picture, and it become very rich interface, and it's having very powerful UI, and all our customers are attracted to the lightning UI. So how would we deal with the and some of the customers are already in the visual force page, which they are not even converted to lightning component or lightning migration. It's not a straightforward, you cannot convert or you cannot migrate visual force page to lightning. So you want to support your customers, and you want to like, you want to give the same rich user interface from the visual force page itself. So that we have something called SLDS, which is nothing but Salesforce Lightning Design System, and which has a powerful UI where you don't need to write any piece of the code to have that particular CSS. And what SLDS contains, it has a CSS framework, it has HTML components, and it can even have icons and design tokens. Let's see how a visual force page with SLDS looks like. So here we go. This is a just demo VF page which I took from even from the Trailhead itself. So if you see this UI, and if you compare with if you compare with this UI and this UI, whatever you are seeing in the lightning experience, it's look like the same, because Salesforce is using the same style, all styles and all the stuff here. So if you see the headers and the table and the footer, so all this stuff which you can even replicate from the lightning itself. So how can I add the SLDS to the my visual force page? Here we go. So there is something called Apex SLDS component, which I already discussed, it's one of the 150 plus components. So you just simply add this Apex SLDS tag to the visual force page, which will adds the all the styles from the lightning itself. And before we have before we conclude, each and every module or whatever we're discussing here, which will definitely have a consideration. So one of the I'm listing out few considerations here, which is you cannot do a DML in the controller itself. So you might have already known like what is DML, and you cannot insert or update, or you cannot make any DML operations in the controller, and you cannot use any DML operations in the getter or setter methods, in the getter methods. And the last one, whatever the governor limits which we have seen so far previously in our earlier sessions, so the same governor limits will apply to the same Apex classes, whatever you're invoking from the visual force page. And last but not least, a view state, which is nothing but whatever we having in the Apex class, like a heap size of 6 MB, the same we having in the visual force page 2, that is called, we usually used to call view state, which is 135 KB. Whatever you are holding in the UI level, whatever you are declaring the variables, which all the variables whatever you defined with the getter setter, which will not go more than 135 KB. So this is, you must remember this while you're whenever you're building visual force page, so that if at all it exceeds 135 KB, you will get the view state error. And with this, thank you for listening from past 30 minutes, guys, and over to you, Shekhar.